hello to the audience. On the new radio station. We will send it to you today. It's a fascinating story. Titled Secret Secret Husband Old Wife Young. I invite you to listen. The bride is beautiful. He's only 2 years old. You look so cute and you go get the old man. 5-year-old has another stroke. It's a waste of a lifetime. Rumor has it that he married him to pay off his father's debt. He's addicted and in debt to RA. A lot of money is good. I immediately found a young girl. Beautiful girl to serve me. Those are the whispers. That's what I heard on my wedding day. My name is Tao. I'm 2 years old this year. Because of family circumstances, so I dropped out of school early and Theo went to work at tomorrow's company. But sadly, my father was addicted. So even though my mother and I tried to go to work, even we're always the highest paid team, but still not enough to pay for my father's debts. My dad's been addicted for almost 5 years. Valuable things in the house, like TI-6 refrigerator. My father's mobile phone was sold out. Even that set of chairs and tables my mother bought for nearly 10 million. That's so heavy. My father also sold it. My house is so poor now. There is no room for a table to drink water. In my mother's house, I had to spread the screen to miss the AI. There is a seat. And no one's coming to my house to play. Even my own brothers. Because my father used to borrow money from them all the time. If they don't give in front of the back. My dad's trying to steal stuff anyway. So they all hated it and no one came to my house. My mother's life was too hard for him. I go to work every day for 10 to 45 hours. I don't rest on Sundays either. All day, all I could think about was paying off my mother's debt. So I'm really tired. Look at friends of the same age. You say go to work, although low salary, but you don't have to pay off your debts to your family. So how much can money do? Everyone can comfortably spend. They have a new cell phone. There's a GA car to go and dress up. And I'm bored to say. I've been working for years, but I still have to ride on a peg bike. Too many days tired to sleep. I ride my bike in a sweat. The company is still late. Now people wear nice shoes and nice clothes. And I'm still the legendary blue plastic slippers. 1 year by BA Clothes. And wear them again and again all year long. Until the jeans were off. New ass. I give my parents $10 million a month. Let me pay my father's debt. Because my father used to borrow heavily. So now the interest on the principal is high. I only saved a few hundred for personal items. And buy breakfast. And my father took my note. If I didn't give it to him, he hit me. Last time I saved $600,000 for pocket money. Please, I will not give it to my father. So he threw an 8 in my face. Makes my eyes blue. It's not over for another month. I can see how bitter this life is. When my classmates got married, I had to borrow money from a friend of mine to go to my friend's wedding. And I don't have any pretty clothes to wear to a wedding. It's humiliating to think about your fate. When I went to my classmate's wedding, I was laughed at by you. Because my clothes don't look good. It was ugly and old and silver. I'm slowly getting bored of this life. The life that goes to work all the time. But there's still no money to pay off the debt. I told my mother I was going away for business. I don't want to go to this house anymore. I hate life here so much. But my mother kept crying. So I couldn't bear to leave my mother. Because if you're alone, you can't carry it. At the end of last year, my father was arrested for drug use. My father was taken to camp. So we didn't have to listen to him anymore. But the creditors started coming to the house to squeeze the debt. They made us pay off all our debts. The debt is too big, that we couldn't manage to get enough of. My mother secretly bought a drug to kill herself. I want to end this life. But luckily I found out. So I called my neighbor to help me get my mom to the emergency room. But since I came home from the hospital, my mother's health is very weak. She didn't go to work. The company can also, so the burden of money is on my shoulders. While the creditors keep coming home to smash. My mother is sick to collect debts. I feel like life is so stuck. Mrs. Hung from the next door came to my house to find my mother and son. I got home from work early because there was little work. My mother and I ate and locked the door to bed early. Afraid of creditors coming. And then suddenly there was a call outside the door. Hi, Mom, are your parents in the house? I looked through the door and saw my mother. Mom, did Ms. Hung open the door for her to come in? Open it, I'm sure Mrs. Hung has something to do. I opened the door and said hello. Why did you go to bed so early before the chickens? I was a little tired, so I went to bed early. Come on in, Mom is in the house. Mrs. Hung came into the house to sit. She glanced around the house and then she wrote her mouth down. You two are so hard. There's no water table. My mother sadly said. In front of my husband at home, he's gone. He's in camp now, yes. That's okay. Leave him at home and he'll ruin your mother's life. Yes, but he still left us. It's a huge debt, Granny. Mrs. Hung nodded in sympathy. It's too bad. Do you want to pay it off? How can you pay it all off? Billions, ma'am. If you keep pushing up to the moon, that's it. You can't pay off your debt by the time you die. She took a sip of tea and said, You came here today and you have something to talk about. You got to the next door thanks to you. What's going on? Does your husband owe you money? You don't know him either, do you? His wife died a few years ago. He just had a stroke. I have to be treated for a few months, and now my health is much weaker. So he wanted to find someone to look after. He said he liked the book. His niece's wedding day. You came to the wedding, right? He just looked good. If the thread agrees, he'll give you money to pay off your debt. You both know how rich he is. Right? My mother and I heard that, and we jumped. I'm a little stunned by this case. I never thought about something like that will happen. You're the richest man in my district. Everyone knows that. But he's 6 or 5 this year. He's the friend's grandfather. In the same class as me, wedding day. I went to his wedding and met him. But I don't think he wants to marry me. I kept quiet and didn't say anything, but my mother was determined. It can't be done, ma'am. It is only 2 years old. It's so young. How can I get it for you? Mr. Dat is 6 to 5 years old. The age difference is so big that it's okay. But he made him rich. Marry him and pay off your debt. After that, your mother and I lived happily ever after. Just think about it and see if she's right. My mother is still alive. You can't. You're old and you're sick. If you marry him, fuck him. You can't take care of him, ma'am. Mrs. Hung closed her mouth and said, "You don't know shit. Getting married to him has been hard for years. And then he died. He won't live long with a stroke like that. He'll be dead in a few years. Then his property goes to the Tao hand. When he died, he was still young. I can't do anything I want to do. My mother is cute, but I want to be able to change my life. So I told my mother, just let me talk to him. Then I'll decide for myself. But he's 6 or 5 years old. There was another accident. Marrying him is a lifelong pain. I don't know about suffering or happiness, Mom. Just let me see him." I asked her to deliver my message to him. I'll go to his house tomorrow night and talk to him. I'll decide later. Mrs. Hung, before returning, give me 20 million and say, "This is a gift he gave you. Take it and spend it." I thank you, Grandma. You don't have to thank her. If you are rich, don't forget about her. Come on, Mom and Dad, go on vacation. Hello, Grandma. My mother came back and my mother yelled, Why are you being made? I'm over 20 years old. You have to marry an old man your grandfather's age. I sighed and said, I want to pay off my debt. I want money. It's all for one word of money, Mom. The next day evening, I arrived at your house as promised the day before. My granddaughter and I were classmates. I used to ride my bike to his house. So I'm no stranger to your success. To the gate I ring the doorbell. Tomorrow is my classmate. Also his grandson reached RA opened the door. He saw me tomorrow and asked in surprise, What are you doing here, or are you looking for me? Tomorrow, will you go home and play? My husband and I are back here. That's best for you. Get married and stay at home like that. Smile and say tomorrow. My husband's house is cramped, so I told my husband to get permission from his parents. Let us stay here for comfort. So you came looking for me? No, I have an appointment with your grandfather. Come on in, Grandpa. I'm sitting in the living room. Thank you. Tomorrow and I go into the house. Your house is large and beautiful. The courtyard and the entrance were long and wide. I'm tired of my legs. You have 3 cars. But this time he had a stroke, so your car's just there. There is no one to go. He walked into the house and his 7 houses were all covered in gold. It's all expensive. I never think about it in my dreams. I can afford those luxuries. He sat down to drink tea in the living room. He laughed when he saw me. On his face were the wrinkles of old age. What to say tomorrow? Dear, my friend came to see you. Go upstairs and let me talk to you alone. In a moment, ask him in surprise. Your grandfather can't hear you. Go upstairs to your grandfather's business. Tomorrow is sad. He turned and looked at me with puzzled eyes. Then go upstairs. He reached, staring at me from head to toe. He kept looking at my chest with a perverted look. I immediately said, I'm here to talk to you clearly. He interrupted my words. He said, Don't call me that, you sound unfeeling. I call you achieve. I hear goosebumps. But because he liked it, I nodded. Yes, Mr. Dat. I came here to ask you a few questions. Just ask me. I want to ask if you agree to marry me in addition to paying off your debt. What else do you get? I want to know clearly before I decide. He grabbed my hand and said, You don't have to mess around with that. I'll never let you suffer. How much money does my family owe now? More than $1 billion. So I'll give you over $1 billion to pay off your debt. Give me another $1 billion. Let me fix the house for my mother. And when you're back with me, your things are all mine. My husband's is also my wife's. I think that sounds okay in my stomach. But what I'm wondering, how your children will react. When you found out you'd married someone as young as me. And then later when he reached death, the property. How to share. If I ask him about property now. He thinks I'm a minor. I'm ambitious, but if I don't ask, I don't feel comfortable. I hesitated. Does everyone in your family have any objections? If you have decided, who would dare to object? As long as you agree, everything is there. I'm worried. I said I'm worried about you now. Can you worry in a few years? And then my kids tried to get rid of me. Afraid of you fighting for property. Then I knew what to do. Don't worry. Your property will be divided between you and your children. I won't be disadvantaged. Believe me, tomorrow I will make a will. You'll have a peace, so rest assured. I also think it makes sense. Now I'm in desperate need of money to pay off my mother's debt. I want to be the boss. I don't want to be in AI debt anymore. I want money to build a new house for my mother. I want money to go shopping and travel. I want a lot of things. And if you have things you like, you've got to have money. Because I wanted to get out of poverty, I decided to make a trade-off with my life. The deal with you is done. When I got up to go home, he pulled me back. Are you calm and in such a hurry? Come back here. He reached to pull me back and embrace me. He looked like he was shivering like an old man about to die. But this old man is still hungry. Give me a hug. I sat still for him to reach for hugs and touch all over my body. I'm a little disgusted. And the worst was when he kissed me. I'm sick and I feel horrible in my neck. A little vomiting. Because the future is not poor. That I have to try to endure. You two are doing something. The sound of tomorrow. It made me and him jump in a hurry to let go of each other. He said in an uneasy voice. I know, I asked what to do. Roll your eyes tomorrow. Are you seducing your grandfather? I silently did not answer tomorrow's difficult question. He said immediately. From now on, you have to call me Grandma. You and I will be getting married in the near future. Tomorrow, glaring eyes. Crazy, how could this have happened? It's very normal that you. What's so surprising to me? I don't want you to be alone all your life. How about this? About you getting married. I heard your mother say it too. But I didn't expect it. He married someone the same age as his nephew. That's it. Nothing's impossible. You go upstairs. This is ridiculous, man. He didn't marry a middle-aged man. You married someone so young. I don't feel right. Shut up tomorrow and I will say that to you. If you still show attitude, I won't let you and your wife come back here. Come upstairs for you. Come back tomorrow and look at me. And then he goes upstairs. He reached back to hug me, but this time I pushed him away. Come on, I don't want to be told tomorrow. Let's talk later. Stay here with me for a while. I quickly walked out the gate. He hit the stick, chase me, but can't catch up. Leaving the house, he reached me walking on the levee. The wind is so pleasant at night. I was walking when Kang appeared. My neighbor is 2 years older than me. Very handsome and kind. It doesn't matter where you go. Kang, I'm going for a walk. Walking alone, yes. Come with me, I want to go for a walk. But you ride a motorcycle like that. Can I walk with you? No, you can drive. That is, he took my motorcycle for a long walk with me. Ever since, Kang is the only outsider good for me. I remember the days when my father didn't go to camp. Every time I was beaten by my father, you ran to the house to help me. He took me to his house and sat me down. Every time he coaxed me and gave me candy. You never despised me poor. Kang and I walked together for a long time. Take your dream car with me. Such a long way. Your hands must be tired. I thought so and said, let's go home, brother. I have all my legs. I'm tired of walking up here so I can drive you home. He drove me to the gate and waited for me to get out. Then he handed me a small bag. What did you give me? Just take it. Just open it. Thank you very much. I laughed and drove home. I carry my bag into the house. I saw my mother waiting in the house. Where have you been for so long? I've decided to marry you, Mom. Why are you so old as your grandfather? Old is not good. Do you want money to pay off your debt? Is that the right decision to make? I wouldn't let you trade your whole life for that. I yelled at her so she wouldn't stop me. If you stop me, I won't look at your face anymore. I hate this poor life so much. I want money. I want to be the boss. So don't ever stop me again. I've decided. My mother is crying, baby. I want you to marry Kang. He just came to my house to play. He also wants to get to know you. When I heard her mention, my heart sank. Because good and true people love me. It's only you. And I like you too. But I've been working to pay off my family's debt. So I don't have time to think for myself anymore. I try to hold my heart and say the bitter words. But I don't like Kang. If you marry Kang, you can pay off your debt. Then the creditor squeezes the land. I know how to do it. How to live the next few months, Mom. I can only cry quietly. For my sad fate. I've decided. No matter what my mother says, I won't change my mind. I went into the room to open the bag that Kang gave RA. He gave me 2 shirts. A beautiful white shirt and a beautiful pink shirt. At the bottom of the bag was a piece of paper that said, "Oh my God, I like to cook a lot. I want to be a protector for the rest of my life. Does Tao agree?" Maybe it's because I don't use my phone. That's why he thought about writing paper. When I finished reading, I cried. If I didn't have to worry about money, then maybe I'll be happy. When I received this piece of paper. But now things are different. I'm about to marry you. My love for you will be kept secret. It can only be buried in the heart. I left my bag the same so that tomorrow. Bring it back to me and tell me. I'm getting married. If he had to do that, he would forget about me. Your heart is destined for the next life, I will respond. That's how I gave up my first love. It's all for one word of money. The next day, I took my bag and returned it. You were surprised to tell me. If you don't have feelings for me, it doesn't matter. You're okay. Please, can you keep this gift? I have to keep those 2 shirts because you are for me. Only you can use it, baby. So you can keep it, can you? I sighed and said coldly. I'll keep the 2 shirts. I want to tell you something. I'm getting married, probably early next month. Stunned look at me, he faltered. I'm about to get married. Yes, I need to get married to help my family pay you back. My mother and son, not paying off the debt this time. We'd have to jump off a bridge and kill ourselves. Hurry to say. I have money in savings. I want to help you pay your debt. Can't you marry someone else? I laughed at Kang. How much money did you save and want to help me? You saved about 80 million. I'm going to sell my motorcycle. Something worth selling. I'll sell it all to pay you back. Please don't marry anyone else. All of your wealth. I can only pay you part of the debt. Where do you get the other 9? Then you sell it all. Then we get married and we eat. At that time people were in debt. Maybe the land doesn't eat anymore. Brother Kang. Oh, so much SAO. Yes, even if you sell your brother, you will not pay off. Forget about me. I married a rich man to pay my debts. We have to get out of this poor life. I understand and understand you. So can you tell who I married? You're the richest man in your county. I hesitated to say. But he's so old. No SAO. For me, money is the most important thing. Maybe old or kids don't care. But he's also sick. If I marry him, I will, suffering. The faster he gets sick, the faster he'll die. I like that. When I finished, I got up and left. He looked at me and held my hand with red eyes. But Kang didn't know that either. After turning my face away, I also quietly cry. You're obviously in love. Love each other, but money is an invisible barrier. It makes it impossible for 2 people to get together. That love should only be kept in your heart. I don't know what happened to you 2 is pathetic. Or to blame. Let the words come in. Wearing for villagers and neighbors' descent. 2 weeks later, I was wearing a dress. Bride becomes his wife reaches. Wedding day, the groom with sticks to pick up the bride. Glad to see the groom's face. The groom laughed all day. But the bride's face was as cold as money. 1 little emotion. Right on the wedding day, many people still wonder. At SAO, such beautiful young bride. I married an old man my grandfather's age. Many people look at your family situation. They know right away. The bride married the old man for money. Because many people know that. Your father is deeply addicted to his eyes. Debt is like God if you don't. Married rich man, my mother's whole life. You will not be able to pay off your debt. My wedding night and he reached. It's quite special and funny. I know tomorrow doesn't like me. Right from the moment we get married. It objected. I married him because I was greedy for money. I dig mines. I didn't love his grandfather either. So I avoided it. I'll just stay in my room. and he reached after receiving the brothers and sisters in the family. He excitedly stood up and went to his room. When he saw you stumbling, his brother said, "You have to be careful when you walk." He reached pat his chest saying, "Don't worry, you're still in style. I see you stumbling, so I'm worried about you. Here's your stick. Be careful. You can go up to the room with your wife." He reached for the stick and went upstairs. He drank a few glasses of wine and was a little drunk. Both legs are trembling 7 before the accident, even if the treatment is successful. But now his limbs are still weak. You still have to walk with a stick. He staggers. Unfortunately, he fell on his face to the ground. 2 of his front teeth fell out. The pain comes to shrink. His brothers hurriedly drove him to the hospital. I lay there and fell asleep, so I didn't know anything. I woke up around 10 at night. I still don't see you getting anywhere. That's why I opened the door and went downstairs. There was no one in the living room. Everybody's back. There's only tomorrow's husband who's drunk, lying under the chair. Where are you going tomorrow? I was looking around when my husband woke up. When he saw me, he opened his mouth and laughed. The drunk form, combined with the strong smell of alcohol in space. Tomorrow's husband doesn't look good. I forgot to say hello to you now. I see my husband is drunk. So I kept quiet and said nothing. I was silent. My husband continued. How beautiful is it to marry such an old man? He's that old. If you are sick and full of people, what can you do? I was too deaf to say it. What does this have to do with Vin? Vin is the husband of tomorrow. Is his grandson reached? He said, "Be careful, or people will laugh." Vin came close to me winking goat sex. If you feel the lack of that, just tell Vin. Vin will help satisfy Tao. Get the fuck away from me. Vin kept talking. I want to go out to avoid it, but I just walked out the door. Then Vin ran and grabbed my hand. Where are you going in a hurry? We haven't finished talking yet. I yelled, "Stay away from me." At that time tomorrow outside comes in. He and I stood very close together at the door. His eyes started to get angry. You two are doing something. When you see your wife, go back to your wife. Tomorrow glared at me and shouted, Vin. You are very good, Vin. She just got back. And I've been counting stamps with her. Or SAO. What is your wife saying? The husband loves his wife. It's a bit of a struggle to be with someone else. I'm no stranger to you, you little goat. The husband promised that he only loves his wife. I see my husband talking back and forth forever. I went upstairs. Call me back tomorrow. Please stop. I sighed and turned around. What's going on? Tomorrow morning, Vin, you go to your room. I'll deal with you later. The glory grimaced, begging tomorrow. But I won't listen tomorrow, so he went to the front room. I asked what happened tomorrow. What did you do behind my back? Are you crazy? I didn't do anything. You didn't hold my husband's hand. Are you going to fuck my husband? Say it carefully. Now, by the way, I'm your grandmother. I'll never call you grandma. Don't dream. I also know your purpose. You're only interested in my grandfather's money. What do you love? Yes, but your grandfather accepted that. Your grandfather wants to marry me. You have to spend that much money. You think the old man is like that? It's easy to get a wife. The age of his grandson, or why everything has a price. Are you educated? But you don't understand why Mai is so upset. He rolled his eyes at me. You are great, Tao. She always looks like a good girl. But the Earth's mind is as evil as a poisonous serpent. I can't believe it. You can tell me I'm a snake. I am a poisonous snake, so you know how poisonous snakes are, right? If you touch it, you will be bitten to death, so when I don't touch you, I also hope you don't touch me. Or you will be tired. May too. You were the one who messed with me first. If you don't hold my husband's hand, then we don't have to be so hard on each other. You're wrong. Tomorrow, your husband wants to flirt with me. Yes, I don't care. So from now on you remember, watch your husband carefully. Don't let it run around or it's a bother. That's an asshole. You'd better not do anything to me. If not, I'll tell Grandpa to kick you out of the house. Not sure about that, man. Because you know, it's your husband and wife who got kicked out of the house. Tomorrow and I had a long fight. He doesn't like me. And I don't love him at all. In the eyes of Tomorrow, now I'm a nobody. And I don't really care. What I care about now is your money. His car reached. What else do I care about? I'm tired. You can't argue with me tomorrow. She had to go back to her room. I drink water in the living room. I can hear her screaming at her husband, and the banging and the wobbling. I close my mouth and smile. It's here from now on. I have to find something every day. Let her husband fight. Have fun at home. I went up to my room and remembered RA. Oh my god, I forgot you got it. Where is he going to do something he hasn't seen yet? There's no other way. I have to go down to the next room to ask Tomorrow. Let's see where he goes. I went to the door. Tomorrow and Vin are fighting. I stand outside and watch them fight and see who wins and who loses. It's still aggressive in the beginning. She kept slapping Vin in the face. He slapped her and cursed. You son of a bitch, he just got here. I flirted with him right away. You son of a bitch. Will you stop? What am I doing? You didn't do anything to hold his hand. I've never held it. You have this argument. Every word says out. Tomorrow straight hands on Vin's face. A very strong slap. That's crazy. He punched Mai in the face. Make her fall on her back. This dog. You see, I'm too gentle for you to get water. I'll punch your mother now. Tomorrow, with my face crying, I knocked on the door. Let me ask you Tomorrow. When he sees me tomorrow, he's embarrassed and won't scream. I asked him where he was going and he never came back. I will remember tomorrow and say, I forgot my grandfather was in the hospital. I'm here to tell you to go to the hospital with him. I forgot about you in the hospital. Oh, he's being fucked. He fell down the stairs. You're going to be in the hospital for a few days. I sighed and went to the room to get my clothes. I took a taxi to visit my husband. That's my wedding night. That's what it was. I don't know how to describe it. I just went to the hospital, and the doctor asked right away, come visit your grandfather. The doctor's question made him angry. Even with broken teeth and body aches. But he kept trying to tell the doctor. Wife, you're not wrong. The doctor looked at me and then at him. What did you just say? This girl is your wife. What's wrong with my wife? No, I'm just surprised. She already has an owner. You say remember to be modest. I know. When going out, the young doctor looked back at me a few more times. I sat next to him and asked, "Why did you hurt so much? You have to be careful when you walk in. I don't know if you're tired." "I'm not tired, I'm just a little sleepy. If anything, I'll wake you up. Go to sleep." I was in the hospital with him for 3 days. People ask me every day if I'm going to visit you. If anyone asks you that, you will get angry again. And I'm just laughing. At the end of 3 days, he was released from the hospital. You're excited to be home. 3 days in the hospital didn't do any good. So he just wanted to go home. To sleep with me. The first thing we did when we got home, I took the money and gave it to my mother. Let her pay off her debts. Pay off the debt he reached for his mother, $1 billion more to build a new house. As promised. My mother had money in her hand, but she wasn't happy. I just asked my mom, "Why are you not happy?" My mother sighed and said, "I feel like I'm selling my daughter to pay off my debt. So I'm really not happy." I laughed and said, "I thought my daughter only had $2 billion. I was wrong. Your daughter's worth $20 billion. It's already sound, then you have to collect $20 billion for your mother." "Mom, please. I don't need $20 billion. I just need you to live there happily. And peace is all right. I'm afraid they're bullying you. Because your children don't agree. I'm afraid they'll hate you and make it hard for you." "Don't worry. Your daughter's not that easy to bully. Talk to Mom for a while." I just looked at Kang's house. But his house is locked and there's no AI at home. "Mom, have you been working lately?" "He's gone to the south, son. It's been gone since your wedding day." "Oh my God, I didn't see him eat." "He's sad about you marrying him." I think it's a crime, but that's it." I sighed heavily and said, "I am sad too, but if I marry you, I will. Where can I get the money to pay off my debt? Good but poor." So I had to do that. I sat with my mother for a while and went home to my husband. When I get home, he was already waiting in the room. I am old and the goat is full. I know I can't help it. So I accepted my fate. I took a shower and wrapped my towel. "He's waving up here with you, wife. I've been waiting for you. But you're still sick. Why don't you come up with me now?" I went to bed and lay down. Let him do whatever he wants. I saw him take off his clothes forever. "Because your hands are shaking." Then he excitedly took off my towel. And hugged and kissed me. I feel so disgusted. But I close my eyes and try to endure. Maybe a few more times, I will get used to this old man. But he was still physically weak. And not much business. It's done for a while. From the day I married him, my life began to change. I don't have to do anything, because you've hired a maid. I just eat and play all day. At night, just lie on your back so you can get ready. Day by day, just like that. I started taking your money. Tell me the password to the safe. So I'm comfortable with the money. And then I took his money and went to driving school. I bought a car in my name. Clothing, shoes, bags. I've had enough of my new phone. I take care of my skin so I'm more and more beautiful. There is money in life, it changes people. You have so much money. So I'm comfortable spending. Without having to think. I bought a car and bought a lot of stuff for myself. Tomorrow seems unpleasant. Talk to me for a second. What do you mean? Tomorrow look at me from head to toe and say, since marrying my grandfather, you've been mutilating. He is a poor farmer. Now it's someone else. So what do you think? Let me remind you, don't waste it. Or because you didn't make any money, you didn't feel bad. Hey, tomorrow. I spend my husband's money. I didn't spend your money, you told me. Or you can't spend your money as freely as I do. So you're bitter. It's very angry tomorrow, but because I'm so right, there's nothing she can do. I know that. Every month he reaches only 10 million for tomorrow. And he made the couple go to work tomorrow. To cover their own lives. Now I'm spending money like water. So I'm sure tomorrow will be more bitter. Mr. Dat is sitting in the living room. Go out tomorrow and sit next to me. Dear, can you give me 50 million? What do you need 50 million for? I want to go on a trip, Grandpa. My husband and I work all year. Without saving any money. Your husband's salary is very low. You've been fed. Give another 10 million each month to spend. And now I still don't have any money. Your husband is also expensive. Everything is expensive now, man. My husband has saved a lot of money. What kind of savings? You can't work for a year without $1. Let's finish this one. I'll take care of myself next time. Why does it spend money? He bought everything that he could one day spend. Hundreds of millions, he said nothing. Please have 50 million. Then you're hard on me. So I'm your niece. Don't let that happen like that. It's true that you are me. So don't compete with each other. I see you talk to him very badly. Next time you say that. You cut my pocket money. Grandfather, can you be so biased? I'm your own grandson. And he's just a minor. He reached, glaring out his eyes. You say something, you're getting more and more lying tomorrow. From now on. You can even hear me say that. One more time. Don't blame me. I'm standing on the stairs. Listen to everything, that their 2 grandkids were talking to each other. And I also know that tomorrow always hates me. She just wants to put me down. But it's not that easy. Because I've got you in the palm of my hand. He hears what I say now. It's just that I don't quite like tomorrow. If she hates me, then I should do something to make you hate it. It's reasonable to send her to her husband's house. Couple, it's here, it makes my eyes very itchy. The 2 of you are talking back and forth. I'm coming down from upstairs. My face is as calm as nothing. I'm happy to say. Both of you got up early today. He grabbed my hand and said, I just woke up, honey. I was a little hungry, so I woke up. What do you want to eat? I asked you to help me cook. I want to eat pho. You told me to buy pho. Let me go. Okay. Let RA tell her to go buy pho and feed her husband and wife. He hit the stick. Go out. Tomorrow she tightened her lips and said unpleasantly. I only know about my wife. My daughter is also sitting there. Without even asking her granddaughter what she wanted to eat. Get married and get married. You said that to your grandfather. You're not afraid he knows. Tell me if you're good. I'm not afraid. I'm not like you, walking around behind a dirty back. You say, let him be kind. Your grandfather volunteered. Give it to me, I don't have to flatter. More than your own kind. All day long try to flatter him. But I didn't get any money. It's humiliating. Tomorrow, I will turn on you, little girl. I'm crazy. Slap him in the face very hard. I warned you not to mess with me. No, you're not going to end well. Don't you dare hit me, dog. Tomorrow raise your hand to slap me. I grabbed her by the wrist. And on the pillow, give her 2 shots in the stomach. Make her fall to her knees. She screeched loudly. He reached outside, came in a hurry to ask, "What's going on?" The next day, rush out behind you on your back. And sobbing. "Grandpa, he hit me, he slapped me." Not only did he not defend it, he scolded it. You're lying and you should be beaten. Let go of your insolent habit. Aspiration tomorrow. You don't even want to find out how it's going. That you've come to that conclusion, Sao. I can't understand you. I told you, don't blame tomorrow. It's all because you're no good, brother. He reached out where I held my hand and said softly, "Don't blame yourself like that. It's all because tomorrow it's insolent." He must have lied again, right? I nodded and said, "I swear you're a bad girl tomorrow. If you feel that I deserve to die, I'm sorry to have to go home to my mother. I'm not here to bother you anymore. You know right away. You feed it, you learn, you feed it." So now he's talking like that. That's it. Don't be sad, let me teach it to you. Now go upstairs and rest. Then the maid came back and called, "I love you very much." I walk calmly across the face of tomorrow. And I glance at tomorrow. You think you're smart enough to fight me? I was beaten by my grandfather tomorrow. She's desperate, but she can't do anything. Upstairs, I could hear his voice screaming. Next time I will talk like that. Go back to your husband's house and listen. Tomorrow couple travel for a week. At home I enlisted flattery he achieved. Buy me a piece of land in my name. And then I flattered him again. To ask you to make 500 million as a savings account in my name. Always. That land and that savings account, no one knows about. When the couple returns from their trip tomorrow, then everything is normal. It's like nothing happened. I've only been your wife for 2 months. But I had my own car. A beautiful piece of pavement, and a savings account of 500 million. Not to mention the things I put on my body. It's all brand. And the wedding money. I also gave it to my mother. I am satisfied with my life. I didn't marry you at first. I used to think my life will be boring and boring. When I married an old man like that. But the reality is different. You just have a lot of money in you. Then you will feel happy yourself. The power of money is overwhelming. When you have a lot of money, you will want more and more. Man's greed is infinite, and so am I. When you make money too easily and spend it, the more I want it. The money doesn't stop at the money level. I want to own more of your stuff. He is the owner of a luxury hotel. Out. There are 5 popular motels in his name. Business is very stable. You earn a lot of money every year. Not to mention, he's got some land in his name. That he reached only one son. It's tomorrow's father. Mai's parents are currently in charge of the hotel. There are 5 motels. He hired his brothers to look after him. Your property is so much. How to spend an early afternoon? I also want half of that property. Or at least one of those lodges. Must belong to me. Then I can be content. My parents are coming home for dinner tomorrow, so I'll have to ask her to help prepare dinner tomorrow. Vin is busy playing games in the living room. Tomorrow she will go out and shout at Vin. All day playing games, put your phone away. Vin is still glued to the phone. Let me play for a while so I can take it back. Take something off. Take off the phone. Your parents are coming back. Hurry off the game. Mom and Dad are just going to eat or something. I saw my grandfather call my parents back. I don't know what you have to say to your parents. Vin's eyes lit up. Or did you call your parents to divide up the property? How do you know? You make sense. Or maybe you instigated something. It is good to divide the property and the husband has his share. You don't have to do any more duty, wife. If you're crazy, you will run out of money. Put something in your mouth. Grandfather's money. Give me 10 billion. With the level of your spending, 10 billion is enough. Don't worry about working, you're rotten. How many billions does this wife have? My mother told me you had 100 billion years of land. Not to mention the motel with your hotel. This time divide the property among 4 people. My husband is rich, my wife. AI says to divide 4 parts. My parents and my husband are 2. The other 2 are from my grandfather and Tao. Tomorrow gritted her teeth. Why should I share it with you? He's only been here 2 months. How much money did you take from your grandfather? My grandfather bought a car for him. Give him money to build a house. Not to mention the money on his body. In the past too. It has benefited too much. But Tao is your wife. Nin dua kung gwin thua kut tai san kwaong chu. Em beat la vei and hung ma em get no lam. MSC Kong Bao Gio da Yen Cho Trian Du Zai Ra Dao. Bang Wa Jia. MSC Kong Da No Dua Kung Tai San Kwaong Dao. Bang Catch Now Chu. Trong Kai Tao Van Song Lu Luo De Ha M. Tua Dung O Tren Ka Tang Tu Kai Ne. Va Tua De Ne Het. En Hung Gi Ma Mai Va Vin Noi Voi Now. Tua Nek Mep Koi. Mai Kong Muon Ong Dat Chia Tai San Cho Min. Ko Ta Tam that day. Aro Rang Min La Vio Kwa Ong Dat Ko Ma. Mai Duok Lam Vei Ti. Tu Gio Tao Se Cho Mai Beat the Now La Ac Gia Ac Bao Ne. Bo Mi Mai Va Ve Toi Na. Mai De Kio Mi Veo Trong Fong Noi Trian. Mi Oi Ong Goi Bo Mi Vi Lam Gi De Ha Mi. Mi Kung Kong Beat They Ong Noi La Vi Na An Toi Roy. Ong Ko Trian Muon Noi Thoi. Hey La Ong Muon Chia Tai San Ha Mi. Mi Kung Kong Ro Nua. Lat Nua Doi Ong Noi Ti Moi Beat Duok Kane. The O Na Ba Tao Ko Song Tu Ti Voi Ong Noi Kong Kon. Kong No Chi U Tien Qua Ong Noi Thoi Mi. Chu No Kong U Thuong Gi Ong Dao. No Song Gia Tao Lam Vea. Vang Mi Nin No Gia Tao Angla Mat Vio Kung. No Moi Vi De. En Hung No De Moi Qua Ong Bao Nu Tien Roy Y. The Nai Ti Lao Dai No Si Moi Sach Tien Qua Ong Mat. Nin Mat Mui Tu Ti Ma John Zao Ve Ha Con. Vang Mi Ko Ta Lin Tu Si Thach Tu Con Nua. Ko Ta Con Doa. Si Tong Ko Vio Chong Con Ra Koi Na Nua De Mi. Mi My Noi John. Troy Oi Siu Tuong No La Con Non Geo Nin Goen Goen. AINGO Rang Lai Bo Lao Nu The. Da Ong Noi Con Lay No La Sai Lam Roy. Kwa La Sai Lam Luan Du Mi. Nen Nu Ong Noi Ma Chia Tai San Cho No. Ti Mi Phi Fan Doi Ne. No Kong Sung Dang Dao Mi Ayu. Demi Bao Bo Con De Zem Bo Con Noi Tsai Gi. En Zong Chung Tuan Goi Fong Kok Noi Trian Voi Now. Ong Dat Bat Dao Ka Trian. Nebo Goi Tu Vio Chong Con Ve. La Bo Ko Vik Noi Muon Noi. Vang Bo Noida. Kak Con Quan Ly Kok San Va Na Gi Vat Va Roy. Bai Gio Bo Muon Trian Tu Sai Not Gi Cho Tao Quan Ly. Du Jup Cho Kak Con. Vi Tao No Ran Royo Na Choi Nu Kung Kong Nin. Why Kak Con the Now? Nai Lap Tuc Bon Ho Fan Doi Nai Bo My Lean Noi. De chung con code vat vagi dao bo. Bao nu nam ne. Tu vio chung con van chuan shuyen het song ma bo ko van digi dao a. Voi lai chung con dong y de bo lay tao. La de bo ko nuoi cham soc luke tuoi jia om dao. Gioma de batao quan ly tu sai na gi. Tiba lam gi con noi john ma cham soc cho bo nua. Ko kak ko jup vik roy. Voi lai tao va quan ly na gi. Vua cham bo kung duok ma kondit kong duok dao bo. Di lai lai jua tu sai na gi. De tun het ca gay roy. Lam gi con boy john de cham soc bo nua. Ong dat ko noi the now. En hung kak con kak shao ong ta not quiet 0 dy. Not la bo mai. Ong dat chi ko mot nuoi con tre duay not la ong min. Ong min lai rat gioi lam vik chuan shuyen song vik dao a day. Nin loi noi qua ong min rat ko trong luong. Bao nam ne, mot te ong min lo het song vik choong dat. Ong dat chi o na hun fuck thoi. Nin geo ong min de fan doi. Ti ong dat kung ko ma quiet din duok. Kuok dam fan lon dao 7 by. Gay my chung twa se dam fan li mot la nua. The en hung twa the twa va ong dat se la nuoi tho kuok. Boi con tre va con dao qua ong de quiet din se 0 d. Y roy. Li them tu dua chow wa veo voi bo mi fan doi ong noi. Nu ve nin twa va ong dat thua la chuk roy. Twa ve fong va gi 7 by that sao. Min kong cam long. Min phi gi ra catch gi du de thay doi tin the moi duok. Twa va len juang nam. Ong dat de om le twa va koi quan twa ra. Tran xamra kia vio john ana. Sai du vio tich suan so con tre qua ana. Mcu ben tin roy tu on tin na. Min con nu voi john ma em. On foi di noit he lam. En hung ma ko lam duok sai tro trong gi m7 vong ve on qua. The la twa kong cho ong dat dong veo nuoi twa nua. Ong ta nan and I my en hung twa van not quiet 0 dy. Gay hom sam wa sang sam. En hung my de nin mi di mua sam kung voi. Ko ta roy ben kung fong xe di choi voi ban. Ong dat ti sang hung xom choi ko voi ong ban jia. O na chi con twa va ong min. Tuan goyo fong kok va gizem. Geo min phi lam aseo. De chiem duok tu sai not gi qua ong dat day. Contre ong dat ko tin nu vei. Min chi muon le duok tu sai na gi du kung ko. Min phi lam gi bai geo nhai. Ong min dao koda by mua chuok dao. Min phi lam sao de du duok ong nhai. Va twa de gi ra mot catch. Hai catch du hoi mau him. En hung du la catch duay not. Ko ka nong mua chuok ong min. Twa mak quan dui va out tu de non. De lon gukt song tron trang min. Va vong eo con kien. Du la loi the qua twa. That any man would like to look at. Especially the round ba peaches extremely attractive. Because last week, I put in a decent amount of money. To fix for beautiful. I lay on my stomach in my chair but curled up lie seductively. I swiped my phone and waited for Min to come down. I think it's realistic. If you can't buy it with money, then I'll buy it off with lust and sex. Any man would like it. He came down and saw me lying there. He whispered so I could hear him and sat up. But I don't care, I just lay there. I am not going out with my wife today. Mr. Min gently said no. I'm a little tired, so I'm not going. Where's my dad? Dad went to play chess with you. Don't call me Tao. I'm afraid Tao doesn't want to. She is only your wife in name. In fact, I pretended to put my face down. His sad face made him wonder. Why did you say that? Your father wasn't good to me or sao? It's not bad. It's that he's lost his manhood. The grass is still young. At an age like this, you can't. If it's been like this all my life, I'm afraid I can't stand it. Your father can't do that. There's nothing you can do. You keep asking for your wife. He got married just to touch his boobs and his ass. But Kia can't do it. I touch it every day. Makes the Tao people yearn for excitement. I can't do anything after that. I wonder if the numbers suffer. I said, putting my hand on my chest. Eyes like desire to desire. I touched my chest right in front of Min. Make him turn red. Hey, Mom, don't do that. I just kept doing my thing and saying, it's too much to wish for. Min is a man. Although almost 50 years old, but he's still cool and manly. When you see me like that, you start warming up. He clasped his hands and turned his face away. But some things have instinctively come straight up. I stood up and approached Mr. Min, can you help Tao? Tao can't take it anymore. In the eye of Mr. Min is my white body. Min's male instincts rose immediately. He stood up and carried my son into the room. And locked the door. I lay on my back in bed, my eyes inviting me. Baby, come up here with me. He hurriedly took off his clothes and threw them to the side. And rushed straight to the bed, hugging me. I was the one who was married. Because my husband is sick. I've never had a full night. Everything is always. Being on the outside is annoying. She has a reputation for being a bad girl. Then I'll accept the truth. Let yourself, to fully enjoy their sexual instincts. Tao is a wonderful girl. I've never felt so up in the clouds. If you like it, Tao will be your secret lover. Mr. Min nodded in agreement. Yes, if you believed. All my life, I will protect you. I love you so. Let's get up or we'll all go home. And this has to be absolutely confidential. You know that. Min was hit by my love drug. So the second negotiation, he said he wanted me to manage 2 lodges. Mr. Min nodded in agreement. Yes, it's okay. I've been managing so much lately that I'm a little tired. It is also good to have a mother who manages 2 motels. Min's wife and Tomorrow jumped back up. They can't believe that after a day. That's 180 degrees of change. Hurry up Tomorrow to protest. Dad, why did you suddenly change like that? Last night, you said you didn't. Dad is like that now. I've thought about it. Now that I'm old, I want some time to rest. I respect my grandfather's decision. If my grandfather said that, I am you. I have to support you, son. I sat there thinking in my stomach. Tomorrow, you think you can beat me. You're not good enough to play with me. I've captured 2 powerful men. It's already in this house. If you like to put me down. Next time I'll sleep with your husband. End of the conversation. I officially own 2 of your motels. That he had previously reached for his son. Is Mr. Min manager. Now those 2 street motels are mine. I'm so excited. But Tomorrow is bleeding. So I had to suppress that pleasure. Since then, once a week, I secretly went to the hotel. Let's chat with Mr. Min for a few moments. So I've just satisfied my desire. Just been spoiled by Mr. Min. I love that kind of clumsy love. It's a very ineffable feeling that's both stimulating and exciting. In the hands of large assets such as land, savings book and 2 motels, I started to face life. Remember the poor days before. I've always felt humiliated. Those days are over. I don't have to do anything now. I can do whatever I want now. But when there's a lot of money, life is abundant. Then people start to change. My personality also began to change. I'm playful and extravagant. I started hanging out in bars drinking, and often came home drunk. I don't have friends, so I'm alone. And eventually, I became a regular at the bar. Every time I get drunk, I've become a completely different person. When drunk, I turned into a lustful, spoiled girl. Just to see a man with eyes. I'm willing to spend the night with him now. I became a self-indulgent person. One-night stands and not bound to each other. It was more than 12 o'clock at night when I arrived at the gate. I drink a lot today, because the handsome guy at the next table kept buying me wine. Makes me drink too much. I'm drunk on my face and I don't know. I don't remember paying for a taxi. Not yet. I'm trying to open the lock today. I kept it open and couldn't get it. Tomorrow she opens the door grumpy. You are very good, Tao. Everyday wine is wasted. I often go through the night. I don't understand what my grandfather is thinking, but harboring a person like you. It's me. I kicked you out a long time ago. I look sarcastically laughing. That's how it works. Let me show you. If I wasn't here. It's not that your life is boring. Why don't you shut up? My family is fine without you. Why don't you just get out of my house? My husband's house is here, why should I leave? You're the one who walked out of here. Married, but not at her husband's house. That's what they call a family parasite tomorrow. Tomorrow and I are fighting. Indecisive, Vin goes far to say. You two stop, Grandpa's not sleeping. If you're drunk, go to bed. Go to your room tomorrow. Go to your room tomorrow. She left her husband standing by me when I was drunk. It proves that she is very stupid fever. When I returned to my room, I looked at Vin and blinked. Then I put my hand on Vin's shirt. And so on Vin's chest. Let's do something. I put my hands on my stomach, then rub down Vin's sensitive area. And say in a lustful voice. I'm sure this is what a nerd would like. The question that smells of my love. Make Vin trapped. He glued his eyes to my chest. I saw him swallow his saliva. I winked at Vin. Then I gave him a hand to push my ass. You look so charming. Like a lot, not like a lot. Ever since Tao came here, Vin has liked Tao. Alright, now Vin, go back to your room. I'll text you tonight to remember to wake up. Waiting for Tao. I went up to my room and saw that he was asleep. The weather has been raining and sunny these days, so he's very tired. I changed my clothes and sat on the phone. I texted Vin at 2 a.m. Vin replied immediately. Vin and I went up to the 4th floor where there was no AI. Vin and I had sex there. We hugged for 2 hours and went to our room. I just opened the door to the room where you've been sitting ever since. Where is my wife going? I shot myself and then I calmed down. The wife was thirsty, so she went down to drink. Your husband is awake. My wife gave me a stick. I feel tired these days. My hands are hurting, wife. Tomorrow, take your husband to the hospital. That's okay. He reached for the cane and went to the toilet with difficulty. I smirked. Old man fucking. Why not die for itchy eyes? I have to look at his face every day. I've reached the neck. This house has 3 men. Now all BA's turn to me. Because I'm beautiful, I'm good at sex. That men, you're always attracted to a sexy girl. There's a little lustful. I didn't sleep until late in the morning, so I slept until noon. When I got up, I saw that I was cooking rice tomorrow. Strangely enough, she's back in the kitchen cooking. I opened the fridge again for water and asked for tomorrow. Are you in the kitchen today? Since when are you working so hard? Come back tomorrow and look at me. The maid comes home with a job. If I don't go to the kitchen, this house will starve. So what are you cooking? Hue beef noodles. It looks good. I'm hungry. He looked at me tomorrow and said, Who cooks for you? I only cook 3 parts. It's for my grandfather and my wife. If you want to eat it yourself. There's no beef in the fridge. You have to go to the market yourself. How much beef are you going to cook? You want me to go hungry, right? That's right, you think. I'm not stupid enough to cook for you. My calf be ate Hue beef bun hot out table. And eat and annoy me. She blows and eats. It's so sweet. My cooking skills are also NDT 0. I didn't want to talk much to her. I'm going out the back, and pressed her face straight into 8 hot noodles. She got burned in the face and she was shaking 8 noodles. Water flows down the thigh, made her jump and scream out loud. How dare you do that to me? I grabbed her hair and pressed her head down. Pile of vermicelli on the table. You cook very well. Now, eat all this vermicelli. Eat it all. You left a piece of vermicelli. I'm going to make you lick this table. You can eat it all. Let me go tomorrow, let me go. Help me with my grandfather, brother. I heard my wife call out to Vin. I saw that I was pressing my head down on the table, but he's caught my trap. So he just glanced at me. Then quietly back into the room. And I didn't hear the morning call. And he reached when he went down with his stick. I've picked up all 4. And put it all in tomorrow's mouth. There's something so loud. When I saw you down, I let go. In my hands I still hold the hair of tomorrow. I saw my grandfather down. Tomorrow run out of his place to cry bitterly. Please save me, he wants to kill me. Just calm down and tell me. He wants to kill your grandson. It's a demon, not a human. You've got to get rid of her, or one day it'll kill you. I calmly went out to wash my hands and there was a little sign of fear. He looked at Mai's hair, filled with vermicelli and meat, then he turned to me. I wonder why you hit me tomorrow. If anything, you tell him slowly, why did you hit him? I sat down at the table and said calmly. I don't know what the story is. Don't you say that to me. You must have hit her for a reason. She's suddenly healing and beating her up. Tomorrow I will cry. Dad, my face is burning so bad that my thighs. I'm burned, man. It's all because of it. It's a demon in human guise. You've got to get justice. He reached Bao Mai. Just calm down. Now sit down and let's talk. He reached back out to ask me, what's the story? Tell me. I sighed and said, I can't understand. Why does he hate you so much tomorrow? Look at the house, there are 4 people. But it only cooks food for 3 people. Tomorrow I will never cook for you. I will never accept you as a family. My wife is clearly Mai's grandmother. I am not a grandmother, but I am still a grandmother. It's family with tomorrow. Why did Mai treat me like this? It is true that tomorrow you are wrong, but that's because tomorrow challenged me first. Curse me first. I'm sorry he came back to ask tomorrow. Is it true that I only cook BA8? The answer is yes, tomorrow, but No, but 2. If I do that, I don't respect you. I didn't call Tao my grandmother. But I don't blame you. Because you think you're classmates. So you let the 2 of you call yourselves, just for comfort. But I'm getting more and more confused. Your wife, you have to respect her. I'm as old as this. Why do I have to let you talk about the basics? Sir, but it's a lie. It's a demon, not a human. He reached for a roll of his eyes. Will you stop? You just disrespect people like that. He told me to hit you. You deserve to be beaten tomorrow. I thought my dad would help me get justice. But he managed to curse her one more time. It made her feel humiliated. I can't say anything back. Go to your room tomorrow. I was lying in bed looking at the phone. Tomorrow jerked the phone out through against the wall. You were humiliated like that. Why can't you just lie here and play on the phone? Vin sat up and he stared at Tomorrow. I have another SAO. I look at your face. Look at your hair. Does it look like a human? He knows, but pretends to ask. That's why I fell. He fell on his head and was hit by the Kia. Which one is it? This house is out there. Who else is in here? Son of a bitch, he hit me like this. And my grandfather would turn around and curse at me. My face is all blistered. Let me put some medicine on you. Let me sit down. Sit down Tomorrow warm. I wonder what good it is. And my grandfather believed it so blindly. Glorious to say. Maybe your personality is not good, but he does other things well. What's the other thing? I know my husband knows how to make love. Tomorrow morning Vin, you talk like you know everything. I slept with him, that's why you know he's good at sex, right? Tomorrow rolled his eyes to Vin. Vin startled, he hurriedly turned the wheel. Are you crazy? That's all I'm talking about. I'm starting to think badly again. When I say it in my mouth, I say what you are. I was just pretending to say something, and I thought that right away. I gave up on you. When you're done, you sweat a little. After being beaten, start thinking about revenge. She's in bed with Finn. You're so bitter. You have to get back at her. Vin is curious how. At midnight she would go down to the first floor for a drink. That's right. I'll make her fall on her face. Down the stairs. Just wait and see. How did you fall down the stairs? I'll fill the stairs with cooking oil tonight. At midnight she's falling asleep. She won't notice. Just wait and see. At 11 o'clock in the night, I'm looking at my phone. There is a message from Vin. Don't go downstairs for a drink tonight. Tomorrow he's going to trap you to make you fall down the stairs. I answered the check and went to bed. I'm thirsty in the middle of the night, but remember that Vin told you before. So I didn't go down to the fridge to get water. There's a glass of water on the table. I drink too. Because he couldn't move. So tonight, he also carried a glass of filtered water above the room. I like to drink cold water. So I'd go down to the first floor and get some cold water. I drank your glass of water. So in the middle of the night he had to go downstairs. When you woke up, I woke up. But I think it's because tomorrow it wants to hurt me. He is his grandfather. How could he hurt you? So I just reminded him to turn on the power on the stairs. Come up to the light. Then I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. I just closed my eyes and slept for a few minutes. I heard his voice outside. I got up and ran out and saw that he had fallen. Is rolling down the stairs. My head is bleeding a lot. I panicked and screamed out loud. Vin and Tomorrow opened the door. I saw my grandfather lying on the floor. The blood on her face changed and she passed out on the spot. He was rushed to the emergency hospital at the time. But because there's disease in you, his health declined and he died in the hospital. After his death, he was horrified. People don't report to the police, but I know he died by falling down the stairs. And on the stairs filled with cooking oil that Tomorrow poured RA. With the intention of harming me. But she didn't expect it. Her grandfather was killed by her. After the funeral is over, we all sat and talked. Tomorrow is very scary. She sat still and didn't dare say anything. Tomorrow's parents only think that he accidentally reached. I fell down the stairs. And he had a stroke. So your feet are trembling. Walking unsteady, and no one wants to look into that. The dead are gone. The living have to continue to live. The truth is, it's just me. Tomorrow and Tomorrow are the best. Since then, I've been terrified. Because I have her weakness. She hears everything I say now. And dare not resist half a word. He died and I started running the family. I started to acquire all of your assets. I've already taken 2 of the motels. I have land, I have a car. Now $1 billion in his bank. I have to get half. Min and Vin, I don't have to worry anymore. Now it's your turn. Tomorrow is in the palm of my hand. My husband's wife is my last opponent. You're dead. So the issue of property division, it's become the most painful problem. Our house started a family meeting. Our family has 5 people, including me as his wife reached. Min and Lin are his son and daughter-in-law. There was also Mai and Vin, his niece and nephew-in-law. We started talking. And make a deal. His fortune is now more than 100 billion in cash. 5 plots of land he divided 4 plots for Mr. Min, Mrs. Lin. Tomorrow and honor each one. There are 5 motels and 2 motels. Some of them he left me. It's a hotel. He also left it to Mr. Min and Mrs. Lin. So that means you're now at 100 billion. A guest house, and a lot of land is still in his possession. That number of properties, he was saved for treatment and lived to the end of his life. Unfortunately, it died early, so those assets haven't been given back to AI. And I can't even make a will. So I and his children. They will decide to divide the property themselves. SAO for rational. Tomorrow and Glory 10. I want to own a property and a motel. So I said it in the talk tomorrow. Tao and parents, they all own more property than their parents. I want to ask you and your parents, give the couple a plot of land and a vacation home. She is right. Tomorrow he's right. That's what I'm calculating, because you've been here taking care of your grandfather for so long. It's been hard. Min immediately said, Tomorrow and Glory are hard. But we also have to ask for Tao's opinion. Tomorrow looks uneasy. I've been back here for a few months, can't do anything, and she's entitled to so much wealth. My husband and I are here. Take care of your grandfather like that. I didn't get much of my grandfather's property. Like her. Parents don't feel that their grandfather is unfair to them. You or SAO. Mrs. Lin nodded and said, That's right, brother. My 2 kids are so hard. Let the 2 of them own the house and the land. That's the fairest thing, baby. I was so upset. Tomorrow and Vin are here. I can't do anything for this house. 2 couples sleep together all the time. Grandfather doesn't know where he's going. Do I need to invite the police to investigate? Did he fall down the stairs? To see if it's because you've achieved self-worth. Or someone hurt him. When I hear that tomorrow, I'm afraid of losing my secret. She sat still and put her face down and didn't dare raise her head. Mrs. Lin did not know anything, so she tried to protect her daughter. Min immediately said, "What is SAO? Maybe your father's death is a mystery." Of course I did. Tomorrow, I hurriedly interrupted my words. Dad, I'm not asking for anything. Parents decide for themselves. I have no opinion. Mrs. Lin asked in surprise, "Why are you tomorrow?" I just heard that and was so scared. You're welcome, Mom. Just keep talking. We've been talking forever, but it's not over yet. A plot of land and a temporary motel to divide later. To 100 billion, Mrs. Lin wants her and Mr. Min to be the heirs. She said Min and I've been watching him for almost 15 years. Now his property has to be inherited by the couple. I am the best. I agree with you because tomorrow is your daughter. So then the money also goes to tomorrow's hand for sure. But I was determined. That's not fair to me. I am your wife. That's going to be split in two, 1 in 50 billion. 50 billion is yours. Mrs. Lin rolled her eyes and gritted her teeth. You've only been here a few months. But how much property did he give you? Stay with that property. Don't be greedy for 50 billion. Too greedy to die. Like you're too greedy to die. You will be the first to die. You are only a little old, but you. More ghost than I thought. You can't help this house. And you're asking for another 50 billion. There's no such thing. My husband works hard for my father. 25 years ago, that 100 billion must be mine. You just walked into this house. Can you do what you're asking for? I casually say, I did a great thing. There's no AI in the whole family. But what are you telling me? It's to be his wife. People think AI can be the wife of a dying old man. A sick and perverted mind like him. I did my best to be with him. So that 50 billion should belong to me, right? My father-in-law gave you too much. Why are you so greedy? You are so greedy. My husband and I will hire a lawyer. Come back to solve this. I glanced at Mr. Min. Min wants to hire a lawyer to solve this. Why? Min looked at me and hesitated. Let's talk about this and figure it out. I glared at him menacingly. If he's against me, I'll tell Mrs. Lin about him sleeping with me. At that time, Mrs. Lin was shocked and died. Maybe there will be a lot of fun. Mrs. Lin and I had a heated argument. And can't come to an end. Vin and Min both slept with me. So now they open their mouths. They're afraid of me revealing. Mrs. Lin and tomorrow will not leave them alone. So they just sat there listening to me and Mrs. Lin arguing. Mrs. Lin told Mr. Min to call the lawyer, but Mr. Min kept humming. And another week to find the best solution. Do not lose the heart of AI. But I know it's hard. Because your money is not small. I get up early in the morning to exercise. I met Min in the yard. I woke up so early today I had trouble sleeping. So you really hired a lawyer? Yeah, she kept telling me to call a lawyer. I don't know what to do anymore. I laughed and threatened him. Take care of it yourself. I want 50 billion, no more. If Tao doesn't have that 50 billion, Mrs. Lin will know about Tao sleeping with Min. And then all people will know about us. Let's lie together. Have you thought about that? Min quickly said, Hey, baby, don't be like that. Mrs. Lin knows you slept with me. She must have killed you. Then you have to have 50 billion. It's a little difficult. Then I'll go in and tell Mrs. Lin. He hurriedly pulled my hand. Please don't do that. I told you I want 50 million. He sighed and said, Okay, I'll think of a way. I hugged Mr. Min's cheek and said softly, Is that love? How long have we not dated, honey? Min said quietly, Let's meet at my old place this afternoon. I miss Tao so much. It's okay to meet, but the question is, are you good? Whether you listen to me or not. If you had 50 billion, I'll be your secret lover for the rest of my life. Do you want me? Mr. Min is covered in goat blood. He nods his head. I want you to. See you in the afternoon. In the afternoon, I would say. After meeting the customer, I will go to the hotel. If you want something to eat first, just call. Yeah, I know. Min and I are talking. Mrs. Lin went away to call Mr. Min. Oh my gosh, are you up so early? You get up to exercise. She looked at me and stared at me. What are you doing here? I exercise, can't you see? What are you up to? Are you crazy? Why do you always think from my stomach to my stomach? Stop acting. How sinister and cruel you are yourself. Then you know yourself. Did you fool my father-in-law? You can't fool us. Mr. Min hurriedly dragged Mrs. Lin in. Oh my god, I just realized that I was so loud. Let's go to the motel now. What do I want to eat so I can cook for myself? Why do you have to be so afraid of her? You've been like that. She swallowed all our money. Come on, let me eat something at home so I can cook it. I pout my lips. What do I eat so I can cook for myself? If she knew you were sleeping with me, then she'll cut your head off. Stand there and flatter yourself. After a passionate sex with Mr. Min in the hotel, I continue to mention the 50 billion with Mr. Min. I told you 50 billion must go to my hand. Did you hear me? It's not the way you give me a boring ride. Then I don't care where you are. You know that. Besides, I have a lot of money. What do you need the money for? It's all good. AI protection cannot be exhausted. Okay, I'll figure out a way to split you 50 billion. You have to share it. You have to. I won't say much. Yes. Now that I'm your general, can you always be right? I remember going to dinner with my mom tonight. I got up to take a shower to get ready. I went back to see my mom. I'll be back later. Honey, be careful. I'm driving home. As we go through the familiar road, I suddenly remembered Kang, my first love. Kang is a handsome and kind neighbor who drove a motorcycle to walk with me all the way. This is the man crying for me. He's the one who made me cry. From the day I got married until now, I haven't met him yet. I don't know if he's okay now. Several times my mother came home to look at his house deliberately. But I don't see you. I sighed and drove and sang. My first love. Just drove back to the gate. I happened to see Kang again. I was as simple as ever, driving the dream car that day. I called you Kang. Kang turned to look at me laughing. I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you? How are you feeling lately, and are you getting married? Everything is fine, but you're still alive. Maybe you're too picky. What cocoon? Because you are poor, no one wants to marry you. Kang's heartbreaking words. That makes me and Kang. Everyone remembers the unpleasant things of the past. When I was sad, I did something else right away. My husband is not coming back with me. My husband is dead. My husband is old and sick. He should have died sooner than expected. So, my condolences to you and your family. Thank you, I'm glad to see you again. I don't want to say goodbye to him. I'm afraid later I won't see him again. You and I looked at each other for a long time. No one said out. But in the hearts of both of them there is a surge of love. I sat down to eat with my mother. Then suddenly my mother asked me a question that choked me. I just saw Kang again. Kang is a good person. Stop talking about that. I'm busy with a lot of things right now. What are you busy with, son? I'm disputing an inheritance. 50 billion with Mrs. Lin. My mother said it, baby. You've got a lot of money. What are you arguing with people about? I'm back with you. We live happily together. That's 50 billion, and the money is not small. Why can I give up? Mom, please. I've only been living there for a few months. You have given me a lot of things. Stop arguing and come back and live peacefully with me. We have a beautiful house. I have savings. My mother's life is so good now. My mother kept stopping me, but an ambitious person like me, how can I stop it? My mother kept talking, but I didn't listen. 50 billion is not a small amount. How can I let go so easily? My mother can't advise me. She went to the entire Kang family to ask Kang to advise me. But I've decided. No one can stop me this time. I slept with my mother the next morning. When she took me to the gate, my mother said, "Daughter, come and stay with me. I'll take care of you all my life. Then I'll wait for you to get 50 billion. I'll come back to you. Then I'll never be far from you again. We will be in peace together. You have a lot of money, son. You don't have to fight anymore, son. Come on, come back." I got in the car and started the engine. As a habit, I glanced at Kang's house. And I caught him standing in the yard. Look at me. Your eyes are full of meaning that makes me wonder. I hurriedly turned the car around and went straight. Looking through the car mirror, I saw my mother and Kang standing there looking at me. That shadow I'll never forget. After a week of negotiations, his $100 billion was reached. Share as follows: I 50 billion, Mr. Min with her 0510 billion. And a plot of land with a holiday house divided for tomorrow and glory. The house we live in is for you. Because Min is his only son. And Mr. Min, I'll be the one to worry about the smoke. The property is later divided. Mr. Min and the honor of the same gut together. So I don't say anything. It all ends there. Tomorrow, I'm afraid I'll find out about her pouring cooking oil on the stairs. He made his grandfather fall. So she's very comfortable not daring to say anything. It's only Mrs. Lin that she doesn't accept it. She said I've only been a bride for a few months. I was given half of his wealth. So she's not content. I'm sitting hugging figs in the living room. Mrs. Lin also sat down. She said, "You're good. You've got too much wealth in your hands. You must be happy. It's fun to have property. But I'm not as happy about me winning you. That makes me happy, Lin." Mrs. Lin gritted the gasoline and said, "Don't be in a hurry. Too hungry to die. We have to see who was killed. You're an old fox." Mrs. Lin was angry but couldn't do anything to me. Because every time she gets mad, she wants to mess with me. And then he intervened and dragged her away. I went to the laundry room to get ready to go home to my mother. "It's all right. It's my opinion. I had a lot of money. Later, my mother and son. You will be able to live a happy life. And affluent for a lifetime. My mother and I will never be apart again. Mrs. Lin has just arrived at the hotel. The detective she hired came looking for her. There are no results yet. I've been following Min for a month now, and found the girl that Min was passing by. Dear, where is it? That's your family. So it's not possible. It's Tao, ma'am. Mr. Min and Tao. We've been together for over 2 months now. I've got enough of their evidence for me to show you. Mrs. Lin, after knowing the truth, you want to go crazy. Your body is hot, like it's about to explode. She screamed loudly in anger. When I'm done packing, I pull all my stuff out and go to the car. I looked at his house one last time. And think that keep. I thought I would have to live in this house all my life, but I didn't expect it. I was able to get out of here so quickly. So I've also made some great fortune. Bring it home again. Life is like a dream. I am very satisfied with my current life. I got in the car and went straight home. I am so glad to see my mother. You don't have to worry about me anymore. I swear, I'll never let my mother worry about me. One more time. From now on, I'll take care of you and make it up to you. My mother's worked so hard all her life. The amount of property I earned after trading the months of his youth. It's now 50 billion. A plot of land on the street, 2 motels are also on the street. Not to mention a 500 million savings book. My mother is holding. There is a car, cars and valuables that I'm using. I think this trade-off is totally worth it. Now we don't have to do anything. Just worry about happiness now. I went home to live peacefully with my mother for a week. I started wanting to go back to. That's right, but it seems to avoid me. Whenever you see me looking for you, he's making excuses to go somewhere. Not to talk to me. Same today. I just went to his yard, and he went away and said, "That's funny. Come to my house, my mother has cooked." He scratched his head and said, "Let's have another meal. I've got work to do." Are you avoiding me? No, I'm not avoiding you. Don't say that. Don't you lie to me. I know, you're not the same person you were before. But if I don't love you anymore, then I said, give me a word. Don't avoid me like that. You're sad, aren't you? I love you. I love you so much that I never stopped loving you. I love you so much, Tao. Why do you keep avoiding me like that? I've been looking for you all week. I have an excuse to get away from you. Why do you tell me? Because you are poor now. I feel like I don't deserve you. So I didn't dare to see you. I'm afraid I will. Don't let Kang finish what I said. He took Kang's collar and kissed him on the lips. You can't say that anymore. I've done a lot of wrong things. I don't blame you, but you blame yourself like that. He held my hand and said, I don't blame you for being poor. Poor brother, but love is not as much as you. Yeah, I know. Come to dinner with me and my mom. I look forward to you. I agree with you too. We held hands tight. They are afraid of losing each other again. So the old feeling keeps coming back. Embracing our happy hearts. After dinner, I went out for a walk. Honey, let's go for a walk. So let's go to the wind. Go where I just went and say, do you remember? Once upon a time, someone drove a motorcycle to walk with you on that levee. Do you still remember? Everything related to you, I remember. Thank you for always thinking of me. Thank you for that. Come back to me like this. I'm so happy. I'll take care of you for the rest of my life, I promise. Mrs. Lin. I was in the hotel when I got the phone. I'm listening. The target is walking to the levee with her boyfriend, ma'am. So let's do it. Hurry up and don't show it. Yes, we know, ma'am. Mrs. Lin put away the phone and laughed. Let me see when your face is destroyed. Who else wants to see your face? The moon is bright tonight. The wind blowing from the field to the levee was pleasant. Aunt Kang and I held hands for a walk on the embankment. Let's go back to the good old days. I've never felt so full of happiness. Like now. The man is holding my hand right now. It was my first love. You were there for me and quietly cared about me. From the time I struggling with life, until now when I've had it all. He's always with me and holding my hand like this. You and I are talking about the next few months. We will go to the same house. I also plan to. Our wedding will be simple. Not ostentatious. We're going to have 5 kids for fun. Happy home because your home is lonely. You are alone and my family is alone. So we're going to have a lot of kids later. I imagine the days and months to come. We were together. It's fun and happy. You two go and talk about how much. Suddenly from behind me, there's a black car coming up. The lights shining right in my face. He pushed me out the back and the car stopped. The 4 men in the car got out. They rushed in and hit me and Kang. I panicked and screamed loudly. But in this empty space, there's no one. People's houses are far away. What do they hear? Kang tried to protect me, but he was dragged out by 2 masked men. Then they hit you in the face. You stumbled down right in front of me. In a panic, I struggled to escape. I got acid in my face. I feel my whole body from head to toe. To the point of losing the feeling. Then I fell down and didn't know. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. Because I got acid, I burned from my head to my feet. The face is the worst. When I woke up, I saw King holding my hand. But when I saw my whole body was burned and covered in bandages from head to toe, I understood that my good life was over. Dreaming about the house. My happiness with Kang is over. It's over. It's really over. I have to live here in the future. I know what to do. I panicked and screamed loudly. My mother and Kong tried to hold me back and encourage me. But I still can't accept this cruel truth. I'm constantly rocking. The doctor had to inject sleeping pills. Let me fall asleep, then I could lie still. 8 months later, I changed clothes to go to the market with my husband. This is the first time I had the courage to go out with my husband since I came back from the hospital. Standing in front of the mirror, I sighed. I don't know if I should go out with him. My husband went in and called his wife. But I'm still afraid, baby. There's nothing to be afraid of. I don't feel ashamed when I'm with an ugly wife like you. In your wife's eyes, you are always the most beautiful wife. I feel no different than a monster. My husband kissed me on the cheek and said, "No monster is as cute as his wife." I'm going to the fair, wife. I heard they sell a lot of beautiful things. There's a music CA again. Let's go, wife. Kang held my hand through the storm. You've always been by my side. And a company with me. All the time I was in the hospital. More than half a year of treatment and how many surgeries we've had. Now my face looks a little less scary. But I'm not the beautiful girl I used to be. But you never let go of my hand. Even just once. You're the one who helped me. Overcoming hatred in life. So I can live a peaceful life with you. Like today. Thank life for letting me see you. The great love of my heart. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, please close the story here. Thank you for listening. Hello, goodbye, and see you in the next stories.